Today, Mommy and
Ava
are reading NFL Huddles, the team mascots of the NFL. And this story is called Runners to the Rescue. This is a vintage book because some of these mascots are so different now. This, I went ahead and peeked, is from 1983. So it is vintage. And the story is by Arthur Rosenblatt and pictures by
Joe Evers.
And it says a Parker Brothers storybook. So this is a very old, as you see. Here's the team mascots for the NFL. I am not a big NFL person. Like I never, ever watch football. But I know that some of their mascots aren't the same anymore. Yeah. But if you want to look, that's the old mascots from 1983. It was the day of the big race, the first annual Huddleston Marathon. All over town, the Huddles woke and thought of nothing else. Stevie Steeler threw off his blanket and ran to his workshop. After a good warm-up, he lifted a few weights to help him get ready. Cowboy Joe looked out the window. A nice, long, early morning ride would be just the thing to help him warm up for the race. Packy Packer rolled over in his bed and laughed as he thought of the victory banquet ahead. He's sleeping in a stove, isn't he?
I would want to sleep there. It looks nice. It looks comfortable.
Looks warm.
Mm-hmm.
By 10 o'clock, everyone was raring to go. Jumbo Jet, the organizer of the marathon, had laid out a track which wound its way all through Huddlestown. The course began at the Huddlestown Town Hall and went over the hills, down in the valley, between the cornfields, along the highway, across Main Street, and finally ended in front of the bandstand in the park. With only a few minutes left, the coach gathered all the Huddles into the clubhouse for a pep talk. Some of them would be running, and some would have jobs to do during the race. "Just a few words, fellas," he said as he tugged on his whistle. "I know you've been working hard getting into shape, and I'm really proud of you. There will only be one of you crossing the finish line first. But if each of you does his best, you can all be winners." Outside the doorway, someone was standing in the shadows and thinking his own thoughts. Said the stranger to himself.
"There's only going to be one winner, and it's going to be me. I may not be as strong as the Huddles, and I certainly am not as honest, but I am clever. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. I'll find a way to beat those Huddles, or my name isn't Chuck Cheater."
Uh-oh. "All right," said the coach. "If everyone's here, I think we can start."
"Wait 1 minute, please,"
said Chuck from the doorway.
"I'd like to enter the race, too."
The coach looked around. "Chuck," he said, "this is going to be a fair race. I don't want any of your tricks."
"Oh, don't worry, Coach,"
Chuck answered.
"I've discovered that I love jogging. I've been practicing, and I just have to be a part of this exciting race."
The coach stared at Chuck for a minute. "All right," he said finally. "You can run, Chuck, but no tricks." Brownie Brown called,
"Everybody line up. The race is about to begin. Last call, starting time."
He bellowed. Off in the distance, far away from Brownie's shouting, Jumbo Jet revved up his engine. He was going to follow the race from above. He'd make sure that everything was going smoothly and that the race would be a good one.
I think the horse is going to win.
Oh, he is adorable, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always sitting down.
The runners stretched forward at the starting line as the coach called out, "Ready? On your mark. Get set. Go!" He blew his whistle and off sped all the Huddles and Chuck Cheater. You think he's going to cheat? I have a bad feeling because his name is Chuck Cheater.
And he just has that look he's going to cheat.
Yeah. Jolly Giant took an immediate lead because his long strides gave him a natural advantage. Close at his heels was Leo Lion, followed by Casey Chief. Cowboy Joe came next at the head of the pack of the other Huddles. You could hear him cheering for everyone else as he galloped along. Chuck Cheater was almost at the end of the line of racers. He was already feeling tired because he really hadn't practiced for the race, but he felt that his plans would work. He would win the race. That was sure. I think his plans include cheating.
Yeah.
"Save your energy for the end," said Pat Patriot as he jogged along with Oscar Euler.
"I'm gonna give it my all,"
answered Oscar as he looked ahead at the leaders. Then he noticed something at the side of the road.
"Hi, look over there."
A big puddle with a filmy glaze of oil on it was off to the side of the road.
"This could be my big chance to find oil and strike it rich,"
Oscar shouted as he ran away toward the rocks.
"That's one less,"
thought Chuck Cheater as he elbowed his way forward.
"But there are still too many ahead of me. I may have to use my most sneaky trick."
The runners now clumped along the old wooden bridge which crossed the Huddleston Brook. Some of the Huddles were already hot and slowing down a little bit, but Dolph Dolphin was right there with a big bucket of water to refresh anyone who needed it.
Aw,
Oh, so sweet.
thanks, Dolphin.
He's so cute too. The leaders of the pack had now reached the top of the big hill. The air was so clear that you could smell the breeze drifting across town from the chocolate factory, and you could hear the birds singing.
Ooh.
"What's that?" said Reddy Redskin, who had moved up to second place. "I think I hear an animal crying near those trees down below. It could need help. I'd better find out."
"But you'll lose the race if you stop now,"
panted Benny Bengal as he dashed by. "This is more important," called Reddy as he took off in the direction of the strange sound. A few minutes later, more Huddles had left the race. Sir Saint had dropped out of the race to help put a baby bird back in its nest. Packy Packer never made it beyond the chocolate factory, where he couldn't resist stopping in for a candy bar.
"Still too many Huddles ahead of me,"
thought Chuck Cheater.
"There's only one way to win. I'll just slip off into the woods and take a little shortcut."
He sneaked away behind a big oak tree and ran into the dark forest. He knew that his secret shortcut would come out right at the edge of the park. Then he would appear in front of the others and win the race.
"Cheating wins again,"
thought Chuck, and he felt so good that he gave another sneaky laugh. Uh-oh. Looks like he got himself in trouble, huh?
Snap. "Ouch! Oh, that hurts!"
cried Chuck as he fell down. There, in the middle of the woods, Chuck had tripped across a hidden tree branch. His ankle had twisted under a thick fallen log. He was trapped.
"Help! Help!"
He shouted, but there was no one near him, no one to hear him. However, one Huddle was keeping track of all the runners. He saw the Huddle who left the race to find oil and discovered only an upturned sardine can dripping into the stream. And it is Jumbo Jet. He saw the Huddle who had heard a strange animal cry and found nothing but an old tape recorder making weird sounds as it rested in the branch of an apple tree. He saw all the others who had dropped out of the race for one reason or another. As Jumbo Jet flew high in the sky, he even saw the runner who had tried to take a shortcut through the woods. And look at him, he's like, I'm caught. Jumbo quickly sent a message to Stevie Steeler, who was chugging along close to the head of the pack. SOS, emergency. Go with Freddie Falcon into the woods. Find and rescue the runner in distress. Even though he thought he might win the race, Stevie Steeler left the course and followed Freddie Falcon through the woods. They were soon at the scene of the accident. It didn't matter to Stevie that the one who was hurt was only Chuck Cheater and not one of his fellow Huddles. He went right to work and lifted the log so Chuck could slip out. Chuck wasn't hurt badly, but his foot was numb and he could hardly stand up.
Climb on,
said Stevie. Without a word, Chuck climbed up and Stevie carried him piggyback through the woods until they got to the park. By now, the marathon was nearly over. There were hardly noticed as they crossed the finish line. Chuck was limping slightly, and Stevie trotted behind him to make sure that he didn't fall. Later on, Stevie explained to the coach what had happened. I knew I shouldn't have trusted that cheater, said the coach. But I keep hoping that he'll change his ways. He turned to Stevie Steeler and said, Make sure that Chuck is there when I give out the awards. Maybe I can still teach him a lesson from this race. All of Huddlestown was celebrating the end of the town's first marathon when the coach called for attention. He gave the grand prize to Victor Viking, who had finished first. Everyone clapped and cheered.
Victory for Victor Viking.
Yay! Then the coach called for silence. I told you all that everyone who ran in the race would be a winner, he said. So I have T-shirts for you all. The Huddles all smiled as the coach gave out the T-shirts. And it says, I ran in the Huddleston Marathon.
Yay.
When there was only one T-shirt left, the coach turned to Chuck Cheater. Chuck, he said, you broke your word to me, and you tried to cheat. Do you think you deserve a T-shirt? Chuck hung his head and whispered,
No, Coach.
Well, Chuck, perhaps you have learned something about fair play from this race and from the way Stevie came to your rescue, the coach said. And since you did run in the marathon, I also have a T-shirt for you.
Gee, thanks, Coach,
said Chuck. Chuck sounded happy. He'd won something after all, and that was enough for him. Or was it? Yeah, I don't like that smirk he's giving over there. And there's more Huddles. I don't know if maybe it's the same ones from the front, but very cute book. The end. And thank you to everyone who stayed for the reading of NFL Huddles, the team mascots of the NFL, runners to the rescue. This belonged to my son, and then it was passed to my other son and my other son. So these have a lot of fond memories for me. I've read them so many years to all my boys, and now Miss Ava, and she reads it too.